But what I'd like to talk about is how you can overcome some of the limitations you create for yourself when you work too hard for no apparent reason. Now, the problem you've got is if you're working too hard for no apparent reason is that you're giving away the milk for free. And that's going to create problems of its own right away. First problem it's going to create for you is that people are going to expect the milk for free. And so they're not going to be prepared to pay more or to recognize the value that you're imparting in your work if you are overextending yourself and overdoing it and working too hard. Now, this sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? The idea that I'm telling you not to work too hard. Really, where I'm going with this is that if you really want to provide value, but you need to have the value you provide recognized by others. Otherwise, people will just take advantage. Simple as that. So if you find yourself working really hard and not getting the respect and not getting the acknowledgement, not getting the kudos that you feel you deserve, to some extent, you have to ask yourself, am I becoming the architect of my own problem? Have a think about that. The baseline expectations that you create when you overdo it and you work too hard. Unfortunately, if you're going to create baseline expectations, it's going to be very difficult for you to challenge those baseline expectations. So the baseline expectations that you set are going to be problematic for you because you're going to train people to project a certain impression or image on you about how they feel you are. And if you decide to change that, ask for different expectations, what's going to happen is that people are going to balk at that and they're going to resist. They're going to find it uncomfortable and they're not going to be able to subscribe to the new demands that you place upon them. So again, you've become the architect of your own problem because you've set certain expectations about how much you're prepared to give and how much you're prepared to do. And then when you decide that you're no longer prepared to do that, unfortunately, people are not going to be able to snap out of their perception of you. Have you ever heard the phrase, for example, a favour once granted becomes a right? Well, when you set those baseline expectations, that's what you're doing. There's an old story about a guy who was a janitor in an apartment in New York. Old Ted, he was called. And Old Ted worked from dawn till dusk. He was available after hours. He worked and worked and worked and was always busy. Always had a clipboard in his hand, always had a pencil behind his ear. Any problems, Old Ted was there for you. Any issues, Old Ted would take care of it. And Old Ted, he held down his job as a janitor for many years and people came to rely on him. And the whole view of Old Ted was that he was the best worker in the world. And then suddenly, Old Ted, unfortunately, had a stroke and could no longer work. And so Old Ted was replaced. And Old Ted was replaced by a younger guy, and everybody predicted that the younger guy would never be able to match Old Ted. The truth of the matter was that the younger guy managed not only to match Old Ted, he managed to do all of Old Ted's jobs in 2/3 of the time it took Old Ted to do it. Don't spend all your time trying to project a false image of yourself on people. By instead of relying on all of the noise and chaos you create by working hard and crazy, start to fall back on systems which can rationalize and provide a more coherent, systematic approach on your behalf. Learn to use systems. Use AI, for example. At the end of this particular video, there's an AI prompt that I put that you can use if you want to set up a system for yourself. Use systems which are going to assist you to get the job done more rapidly. What you have to do is you have to look at the foundational habits, the assumptions and the attitudes that are underlying and underpinning the way that you operate. And if you find that your values are messed up and that you are more interested in trying to curry favour and garner approval than you are in actually getting the job done, you're going to be hurting yourself with a bit of nice guy syndrome there. You need to snap out of it and break the loop. You need to start to use systems, and you need to start blowing your own trumpet. Find out what it is that you do that is indispensable, and start telling people what that thing is. Start explaining to people if you didn't do what you are doing, things would suffer. Start becoming your own PR unit. Start polishing your own brand. Everybody should see themselves as having a brand, regardless of whether they have a channel or a media outlet or a social media platform profile. Branding is essentially the perception that other people have of you. The way they talk about you when you're not in the room can be roughly described as what your brand is. So what is your brand? Are you the try-hard guy? Are you the person who is going to be always giving the milk away for free? Are you the guy that everybody considers to be a nice guy, but essentially a bit of a blunderer, a bit of a dunderhead? Somebody who, although we all rely on, isn't indispensable. Somebody who is replaceable. What I'd like you to consider is how you can sharpen up your systems, start to blow your own trumpet, stop giving the milk away for free, and thereby put yourself in a better position to demand more pay for the work that you do. Stop underperforming, start over-delivering, stop giving it away for free. Demand some respect for yourself. So what are the solutions? The first solution is that you should make what you do more visible in order to create a better perception of you. You need to reduce the noise and start amplifying the signal. Make it apparent to people that without you, things would be damaged or suffer. And don't be afraid of blowing your own trumpet and promoting yourself to other people. You don't have to be an asshole about it. All I'm saying is that you have to start underpinning the value that you can provide and letting people know that without you, things would not be running as smoothly as they are. Second solution, create scarcity. Start cutting back on what you do. Stop amplifying the free milk message and start cutting back to basics and choose the sole most important things that are necessary to enable you to do your job. Stop trying to cover for everybody else. Stop trying to paper over the cracks. Stop trying to be everything to everybody. Create a little bit of scarcity around yourself. Learn how to say no and relish the opportunity to do so. Upgrade yourself by introducing systems which are going to assist you to get things done more rapidly. Don't be like old Ted the janitor. Don't be Mr. Good Sport. Start using systems which are going to sharpen your act. Do it now. I hope this is useful to you, and I will be back tomorrow with some other snippet. Probably not from my car. I just had to do this today because, well, time marches on and I got things to do and I can't be everywhere, etc. So I'll leave you with this one final thought, if I may. Whatever it is you dare to do or dare to dream, begin it now.